This is my final project for my interactive arts class. I thought it'd be a fun idea to take an old iPhone, this one in particular had a broken screen, and put a Raspberry Pi in it and kind of use the iPhone as like a case. I thought this would be a cool idea. I didn't see anything like this online anywhere, and I thought this would be a good way to repurpose something that is kind of already broken and on its end of its life cycle. So this case right here, I had an iPhone 5C, and I ordered a Raspberry Pi Zero W. That is the smallest Raspberry Pi they make and has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capability, which I thought would be useful considering the size and form factor and limited port availability. So we had to take apart the screen. This is the LCD that not LCD, the reflector that helps light the LCD. We had to take out the battery, and we took out the speaker and lightning port, as we really don't need these components as we're not actually using the phone anymore. This is the little headset speaker that you use for phone calls. Once the Raspberry Pi Zero W arrived, it took a little while just due to coronavirus. I ordered a full kit because it seemed to be the only way I could find these available and in stock. Came with a bunch of different adapters, but unfortunately most of them were broken outside of the box. But the Raspberry Pi itself, as you see here, worked flawlessly with no issues. From here, you can see it's very thin, very small. We actually had a lot of extra space compared to what I initially had thought would be inside the phone when starting this project. Here you can see this was when we were prototyping and seeing, okay, where is there space, where can we cut? We ended up not cutting in those locations. I just wanted to make sure that the screen would still close, there'd still be wiggle room, we're not putting too much pressure on any of the components. And as you can see here, it still sits flush with the Pi inside. At this point, I wanted to make sure the Raspberry Pi actually worked, considering some of the adapters didn't. The first install of Raspbian didn't work for some reason, so I had to do a fresh slate clean install on a different SD card, and that seemed to fix the issue. Unfortunately, the second time around, the power supply stopped working, so I had to switch cables, and then after that, it worked, it booted. This is a 500 megabytes of RAM. It has a single core 800 megahertz processor, so it's not going to break any speed benchmarks. In fact, it took almost forever by today's standards to set it up, but nonetheless, it's a Raspberry Pi. This thing costs like $10 and it works. So here I got it up working, just want to do some checks, ran a few simple Python scripts. So after that, I started to drill the ports. I had some help with this. They're not perfect by any means. Unfortunately, my friends that were willing to help, this couldn't really do that due to coronavirus here. We had to remove some of the metal from the plastic so we could actually drill in those ports. The screen itself has little hinges that click into the body of the phone, but those didn't work, as you can see here, so we actually had to grind that metal off. But we still kept them on the other side so we could still snap the screen back in. So here, take a look. This is what it looks like in. We put Velcro on the bottom so we can still actually snap off the screen, or snap off the Pi and put the Pi back on. And we use very thin double mounting tape to actually get the Pi in there. We also had to flip the Pi compared to the initial design. And we put some electrical tape over the metal parts on the screen so no metal is actually touching the board. After that, we put it back together. This is what it looks like. You can see the ports being plugged in. I think it looks pretty clean and cool. And then, as you can see, it boots. We didn't know if we broke the Pi, just considering how much rumble-tumble it was in. We had a lot of trouble getting the video to play, but I figured it out. It just, for some reason or other, has to be full screen. I don't know why. I put it picture-in-picture with my monitor, which is why it looks so small here. But eventually, after playing around with it for a little bit of time, we got the video playback here. So it is currently playing back the video of it being made that you are watching now, which is kind of meta. We originally had planned to use a graphics library of some sort to build some cool wallpapers, but we found out it didn't have enough power, so this will do. I hope you like the project. That's it.